It is seriously October. I mean, it's like halfway through now.
Yeah.
Halfway.
And we're having today, the day that we're, recording, it's actually pleasant out.
Oh, it's wonderful.
So I got up early and I got to do things like restripe parking lots.
Oh, gee, Colleen, that sounds like a blast.
It's not nearly as much fun as, let's say, going through a catalog and going, what anal toy should we buy today? Which I haven't done in years, honestly, but I still occasionally, look at stuff and say that looks interesting or this or that.
Mm-hmm. Or how about a walk?
Yeah.
On a nice day, like today. That's also good.
But I was outside. I restriped a couple parking lots and I filled some potholes in and I'm like,
Physically yourself?
Physically myself filled in a couple of potholes.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's the joy.
Well, what's funny? Mm-hmm. Even the owner of a sex toy empire, such as yourself, has to do those mundane things. Oh. Not sexy. Colleen, it's not sexy.
No, dealing, I've got a furnace that's not working and phone systems. I mean, I never get to deal with the fun stuff, which is, I think, one of the reasons I really like doing this podcast. One, I've noticed that people are, listening.
Yes.
We've got thousands of people that listen. That's sort of fun. But the fact that I get to actually, hear about fun sex stuff and then pass, information on about stuff.
Yeah.
And and we can have a little break from the real stuff, which is actually rather scary.
Very scary. Can I tell you though? I was eating my lunch. I have this habit. I do need to change this. But I will take when I'm sitting and eating my lunch. I like to read, so I'll go through the news headlines, which is very bad for digestion. I'm learning. I did see one today that cracked me up, as it will crack you up as well.
Okay.
It said it was on one of the news network sites, and it just said Florida man ... right?
Yeah,
and it says,
so you're like,
Florida man feeds beer to alligator, tries to get it to bite him. Yeah.
That's just
Florida
fascinating.
man.
Florida man, yeah. That's always, it wasn't even naked, huh?
No. But it just, we always talk about Florida man.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to lead off with that.
I never did Google that, the baseball team that was going to do that,
the Florida man promo.
The Florida man promo.
Well, it's down there, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. I'm not paying attention to, the Twins
got their asses handed to them.
Yeah, it's very sad, but they get the home run thing, so that was good. Yeah. And but we all know that baseball is very superstitious. Oh, and just because life got busy, I wasn't paying attention to baseball at the beginning, the spring. Mm-hmm. So, and then the Twins were winning, so I had to keep pretty much ignoring baseball all summer. I ignored all those games with the Yankees, but no, it didn't work. So now the one thing about that is that now I can pay attention to baseball in the spring again, because if they had gone farther or what, if they had won the World Series this year, I'd never be able to watch baseball again.
God, you guys are so funny. Baseball is so funny. It really is. I don't think hockey is as superstitious as baseball.
There's some.
They have some stuff.
Yeah, but there's nothing like baseball and superstition.
So funny. Well, we're going to go from Florida man to, I'm going to dub this guy Fart Man. It's not funny, but it's funny. Okay. And I don't recommend doing this, but since it happened, I'm going to giggle.
You're gonna
okay. This happened in Scotland. In Aberdeen, Scotland, and a 28-year-old guy got sentenced to 75 hours of community service after farting 3 times in the presence of police and asking, "How do you like that?" Now, before you say, what's the big deal, you have to understand this was in a strip search. So, rude. And he was in an accident, and he was there talking to the other driver. They smelled alcohol, and so he, instead of cooperating, got surly with them, and so they handcuffed him and took him to. Now, mind you, if you're going to go to jail, why not go to Kitty Brewster, the Kitty Brewster police station? It doesn't sound threatening at all, does it?
No.
The Kitty Brewster.
But honestly, it's probably an ancient. Massive stone building, because
I'm sure it's fantastic.
That's how I just picture Scotland.
Yeah,
I know that they've built things in the past 100 years, but I don't care about those.
No, I don't either.
That the fact that there's I'm pretty sure that Scots swear better than anybody on the planet.
Oh my God. And with the accent, it's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic.
Just Google Scottish swearing and watch them and just be happy. Just be happy.
Well, so who's the African-American host, really funny guy that does the TV show with the little kids? You know what I'm talking about? He talks to little kids. It's hysterical. I've seen clips of it.
Oh, yeah.
Google Scottish kid.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It is the cutest thing I have freaking ever. You can't hardly understand him.
Nope.
But him trying to talk, and he's so precocious, as most of them are. Yeah, that's a great one to Google. Louisiana, we head to for the next situation.
Okay.
I think cheating sucks. Infidelity in a committed relationship, if the agreement is that you will not fuck other people.
No, I mean, you can have agreements that you will fuck other people, but if you do not have one of those.
Right. Or an agreement that you expressly will not.
Yeah.
Which in the case of most marriages.
Yeah,
that's the general thing.
Yeah. I mean, it is sort of implied. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, but it never hurts.
Although honestly, in like the past few years, you probably should have that conversation.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Well, this particular woman, Anne Pham, was very upset with her husband, who she believed was cheating on her, and she shot him up with Nerf guns. So these were the plastic toys that use the foam darts. So she shot a bunch of those at him and then chased him out of their home of West Monroe, Louisiana. Chased him down the road. He went somewhere and called police. And when police arrived, she was still holding the Nerf guns. And she is charged with 1 count of domestic abuse and child endangerment. There were children home. When she assaulted, I'm sure the Nerf guns very likely belonged to them. We don't know if they were registered to the children or not.
Oh,
but she's in trouble.
I'm guessing that there was some words, poorly chosen words, sort of like again, because I mean, in that case, I have Nerf guns at my house. I could,
I love Nerf guns.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean, there was this when my daughter was a senior that they did the whole Assassins game, which I like and don't like. There's a whole bunch of stuff on it, whole different conversation there for a different podcast. But there are many Nerf weapons and projectiles at my house.
Oh,
when they would I'd be able to wander around the block because I live near the high school and just pick up like free ammunition.
Sure. Which is fantastic. Yeah, Nerf guns are the bomb, but she's in trouble. I guess it goes to intent. We're going to probably be hearing more about this stuff, but this is a guy whose BS I think I'm willing to buy if it's marked down like 20%. Okay. So listen to this. This is a Sicilian chef, and he's a TV host, literally in Italy, okay? He's got a cooking show there. Cooking shows are big, right? Carmelo Chiaramonte. He got arrested because on suspicion of drug dealing because he had, a couple of 6.5-foot tall marijuana plants and 35 ounces of Indian hemp inside his village, and he lives in Tracastagni.
Hemp
doesn't
have any.
No, but
THC
cannabis.
In it. Yeah,
cannabis plants do.
But how much? I mean,
Well, 2 plants, 2 6-foot tall plants, probably. I don't know. I'm not a pot farmer, but
no, that's not a lot.
No.
It was hilarious. I had friends in college, and we were at one point. They wandered outside and they looked at their mother's garden, and they realized, why does our mother have pot growing? It was just one plant, probably a discarded seed. There's no way in hell this woman planted a pot plant. And so they just left it there for the entertainment value for a little bit. And then one day it was gone, and they don't know who took it. Their mom thought it was a pretty plant. She had no idea what it was.
It was hysterical. I was in like 3rd grade, and so this was a long fucking time ago. And the police had come to our school like that week and showed us like what pot looked like, and telling us to the community service thing that they do, right?
Yeah, it was a little bit right around the time of just say no bullshit or
it was way before Nancy Reagan.
Yeah.
Maybe Dare was Dare before that.
I don't know. I paid no attention to that shit.
Well, I did because later that week I was at my aunt and uncle's, and they lived in this really cool apartment complex by the beach in Huntington Beach, California. Okay. And I was, hopping and skipping around in the courtyard, whatever. And I look over and I see a pot plant. And I went trotting in the house and I'm like, there's a pot plant out there. And then first thing that happened was my mother was like, how do you know that that's a pot plant? Right? I'm in 3rd grade, for God's sake. And I said, well, the police came to the school, blah, blah, blah. What had happened was the managers, they had gotten some soil when their kid was a cop and brought home some potting soil from there, and it had seeds.
Pots, yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, there's a whole... I don't know. I know we talked about it once, or I sent you an article about like smoking pot and sex.
Yeah.
And or did I just post it on the Fantasy Gifts website? But there's all sorts of stuff they're doing, like pot's good for sex, pot's not good, for sex, or this or that.
Drink wine for heart health. Don't.
But I'm just like, if it makes you a little bit more relaxed, fine. And then I was at like Lunds and Byerly's, which is store, and they had like a whole like special magazine, just on those few magazines, like women and weed. And so there's a whole article about sex and pot in that. And, so I'm flipping it through and I'm, all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, it was like, if it feels good and it doesn't affect you in other ways, go ahead and use it. If it doesn't, don't use it. There was like 8 pages to say that. It was hilarious.
God. Well, that's, people that need to sell ads and shit
I know,
that.
but it was pretty good. But I do know, the CBD oils and the stuff and the relaxation and that. We do sell some CBD products and stuff like that, and they've been very, very popular.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. We don't sell the vaping cartridges because I'm a little freaked out by some of the stuff that's happened with some teens. Even though I know that we have that they're not. Oh God, where I want like fake cartridges or anything like that. Right, it's a reputable company, stuff like that. But it's not. It doesn't really work for us as CBD agent. The inhaling that has nothing to do with Fantasy Gifts, but a lube with CBD and a massage oil or stuff like that. That makes sense.
Sure. Sure.
We're going through there.
So believe it or not, we actually started talking about an Italian chef who got arrested because he had pot plants.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite part of the story, is he says, look, I'm just testing out new flavors. He said, I am looking for new ideas because I'm a prolific agro-food consultant for third millennium cuisine. So he is going to go on trial and, I'm
really quite. I'm pretty sure they get other things to do in Sicily besides that. Do you know there's a town in Sicily that you can like buy like a villa for like $10? But of course you have to then like this whole town wants people to come to it, but you have to like invest like $150,000 in like fixing up the villa.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
And I'm like, I wonder if I could do that. And then, I've got enough Italian in me. I could probably get Italian citizenship if I wanted. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, can I just tell you one thing that is probably going to be used against the poor chef at trial? He had one of his shows titled Immoral Recipes and Aphrodisiac Foods. Now, I think he sounds fun.
Oh yeah. I can't possibly. I don't know what the rules are in Italy, but I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Why they're even bothering with this? You pull it up and say, "Don't do it again."
Yes. Okay. So this is a really fantastic turnabout story, in my opinion. A pervert who sent an unsolicited dick pic to a woman got a taste of his own medicine when she responded with a picture of her own much larger penis. And this would be Faye Kinnelly, a 20-year-old trans student from Glasgow, Scotland, born biologically male, but now a trans woman. And he or she proudly refers to herself as that one girl with a dick. So she put the exchange on Twitter. And she said, this random guy somehow got my number off here and sent me a dick pic, and I guess he didn't appreciate it when I sent a picture of mine back. Worked like a charm. And we'll put the story up on the Great Northern Sexcast Facebook page, but they were cracking up, and all these people were like, is yours really bigger? And he's like, a lot bigger, and, ha, ha, ha. That's a funny thing.
Yeah, because, we've said this a lot, the brain and the physical attributes of a human body develop at a different time in the womb.
Yeah.
So you do have this thing where someone has a more stereotypic female brain and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, you can have a chick with a dick.
Yep.
And it's not just a series of DVDs.
No. No. But one funny thing that did happen, I forgot to mention, like the kind of pièce de resistance, I guess, of the story. So when Faye sent the picture of her penis back, he wrote, the perv said, "Why would you send me that? I'm blocking your number now. Delete this conversation." And she's like, "Really? Like, you're kidding me." But yeah.
Yeah, that whole pot, kettle, black, the whole deal. I think it's one of the reasons why a lot of guys freak out is that they're really, with any sort of being told not to do something or the semblance of equality is the fact that they're really afraid that people will treat them like they've been treating everybody else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they know what assholes they are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A guy, age 47, along with his girlfriend and her 18-month-old grandson were clothes shopping. And the manager of the store was utterly convinced he was shoplifting due to the bulge in his pants. And he spent about $500 in the store. And when he tried to leave, they demanded that he reveal what was in there. And after arguing and being pissed off, he went and unzipped for a male employee. And in fact, it was just his junk that they were seeing. And they released a statement.
Those are some really tight. Well, one, it's none of these, where was this?
It's in the UK.
Okay, so I don't know whether you have to get a hold of an officer or something like that. I'm not really sure. My daughter worked retail, and they would there was such a line. There was a different line of who could say what and security and getting them all folks there and stuff like that. And I mean, I'm not sure really that the retail employees are supposed to be cops.
No, and I mean, more about these rules, as a owner of a chain of stores, Colleen. But I mean, aren't the rules pretty tight around people having to? Yeah. You have to have seen them do something almost. You can't just suspect that they have something. Yeah.
Yeah, which is, what's really lovely about cameras.
Have you ever seen these really big, giant bottles of Grey Goose vodka? You know which ones I'm talking about?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
super huge.
They make these, massive bottles of booze. Whether it's Grey Goose or any other company, they'll make, promo bottles or advertise. I'm sure there's a better word. I'm just not coming up with it.
A guy put one of those in his pants when my husband used to have a store.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, really? You could see, the outline of the body. I mean, it was gigantic. And it's you need to give us that back now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyway, we'll see how this goes. But I think in the stateside, that would be kind of a problem. Yeah. So, this is, I don't know. This is what I don't like about the internet. So this bridesmaid went on a site and shamed herself with a picture. She passed out. She fainted during the wedding. And there's a picture of it. The bride and groom were fine. They finished, and one of the other bridesmaids got her up and got her some water, and she's fine. It doesn't say whether it was the heat or the weather, but she just kind of put it out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stress and anxiety over a wedding, and sometimes you don't. I've noticed. I mean, it's been years since I've been involved, but food. People forget that you need to eat, especially the bride and groom. It's you start in the morning, you go all the way to the evening. Everyone's hugging you and talking to you. Bride and groom never get to eat. It's important to eat. So more than likely, she also, had almost no food in her. Yeah. And then had the massive adrenaline of the day. Well,
and this is the bridesmaid, but again, one of the things she could have done too is locked her knees.
Yeah.
Which will do that too. But so she put it out there oh God, I'm so embarrassed I did this, whatever. And a lot of people said, well, shame on you for making it about you. And she probably was just, horrified and looking for a little community. And, the freaking trolls just went downtown bang on her. And it's really, come on, you guys.
I think that there's a lot of things that folks don't have a control over in the world in general nowadays. And so if they have a little moment to where they can feel like they're in control by yelling at someone. For some reason, that seems to be folks' first choice versus being kind to the person. I'm not sure what's going on, how those folks are wired, but I figure they're probably not, not nice to be around.
No. And, approval seeking, unfortunately, rarely gets you the result you're looking for, unfortunately, which is true. So I would imagine that this happens all the time. But a flight crew got a giggle because one of their crew members, a female flight attendant to be specific, left her sex toy behind. But instead of just posting, that they had it or, reaching out because they had her name and everything, they decided to send it to the airline. And they said, there's a 9.8 inch dildo left behind in one of the crew rooms during their hotel stay. Please let us know what you'd like to be done with it. And everybody's like, really? I mean, come on, man.
I mean, as much as I would like sometimes for the merchandise that I carry, sex toys, to be as ordinary if someone had left their watch or a bowling ball behind. There are certain things that are private. I'm not sure that I would say, that someone left their medication behind or their Rogaine behind, or there are things that are private.
Yeah.
It's going through there.
Yeah.
And, I'm pretty sure they weren't thinking of this as just another widget.
No.
It was made that way. And this is the thing where people start, then feeling like ashamed of the fact that they have, like that they masturbate or they have a sex life.
Yeah. I know. That's too bad, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I see less of it. I mean, we're going through there. I mean, because we've got when I see folks that are like under 30 shopping, they're a lot more open about questions and that sort of stuff. They know what they want. They've done a little bit more research, versus just, coming in, grabbing something that looks close to what you were maybe thinking of and putting it face down on the counter.
Right.
It's about knowledge. But still, it's still a private thing. It's going through there.
And nobody should be shamed by somebody else who's probably bitter and never gets laid. I'm just, it is. It's true.
You do make some inferences that are probably very close to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Unbelievable. I don't know. I want to see what you think because I thought it probably has some possibilities. So it was created. It's cleverly named Come and Gone. And what it is, it's a sponge on a stick, basically. So it's something that you can use right after you have sex before you get up, and it runs all over the place to kind of go, splunge it out quick and then go. It's made from sterile medical grade polyurethane with a polyurethane handle, and it's intended to be swirled around in the vaginal canal once and then thrown away. And it's not supposed to, prevent STDs. No. It's just to avoid that
the wet spot,
or the run or the dribble or yeah. And so she thought, why hasn't anybody come up with a solution for this? The gal that her name is Frances Tang. She's from California. And she said, I came up with this based on a personal problem. Every time I'd be stuck in the bathroom wiping up what felt like an endless amount of aftermath and wonder, come on, we got to do something. And the more she spoke to other women, she came up with it. So it's only available for purchase here in the U.S. It's sold in multi-packs of 10 for $10. Some gynecologist is going to say it's a bad idea, but she's not saying...
Oh, no, they're just,
it's just a convenience.
It reminds me of a really, 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 really old toy from an old company that we just don't carry anymore, and it was called the Womb Broom. It was,
yeah,
but it wasn't for cleaning. It was just something like that. I have to admit, logically, it makes sense, but emotionally, I'm sort of skeeved out.
Well, she said she wants to be able to lay there and not have to rush up and clean it up.
Yeah, I don't know, but you're also supposed to, like, if you want to stop. I mean, it's good to urinate after sex anyway to help with UTIs. So at one point, you're going to have to get up and go to the bathroom anyway.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
I know, like I said, I don't know. I haven't seen it talked about in any of the industry,
trades?
any of the industry magazines or anything like that. That is a tad fascinating. I'll have to ask Tara if she's run across anything like that. I mean, there's always been novelty cum towels and stuff like that. But like I said, logically, I can see the point, but it's sort of grossing. I don't know why. I can't.
Well, what do you do with it after you use it?
Yeah,
like where do you put it?
I mean, just gonna stick it on the nightstand? There's a little plastic bag that it goes into. I mean, put it this way: we've got an awful lot of stuff that you use once and then throw away. Which
is
particularly,
this going to kill turtles too?
Yeah, I mean, who knows where this could end up? It's plastic.
Yeah.
I think aren't we supposed to be trying to reduce our plastics use?
Yeah.
We got like 10 years and a few months before we,
Just keep a towel and wash the towel. That's fine.
I don't know.
And if you use a big enough towel, then you can roll it up. It won't get on the carpet. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, obviously, then again, if you're also, if you're using a condom, for various reasons, that's going to catch a bunch of it anyway. But then again, I mean, and if you're a squirter, which it's not going to solve that problem.
No.
Plenty of for that. So I suppose there's a niche. There's a niche for almost anything.
Sure.
For folks that just want to swab.
Well, it's probably going to be the same people that, overdid it on hand sanitizer and created a super bug that's probably going to kill anybody that goes into the hospital because antibiotics don't work anymore.
Yeah, I'm allergic to most of them. So that's, well, I'm allergic to many. And I don't tolerate a lot. So if I ever get really sick, I'm going to end up in the hospital because I can't. I'll have to get some of the stuff by IV so they can watch me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank God I never binged on antibiotics. I know some people that just, I have to go get an antibiotic. And I demanded an antibiotic. And it's like, you're an idiot. Because luckily they still work on me because I was just like, no, I'm going to tough this out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I had quite a number of years of massive bronchitis for a while. And they would swab for it. And sometimes it was bacterial and I could take something for it. But a lot of time it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah. Bronchitis is a booger. It's weird. I had it a lot when I was a kid, but I grew out of it, thankfully.
I unfortunately grew into it. God damn it.
That happens too. Designer Saint Laurent, also known as YSL, it's a label out there. They are selling condoms. Have you heard about these?
No, I have not. I've missed that. Like I said, I've been spending an awful lot of time on like building maintenance and broken things. I don't really get a shot and potholes. I don't really get a chance to look at the merchandise anymore. Although we did get a sample in the other day. It's round and it's black and it's got 2 holes. It's supposed to be a masturbator, and I just looked at it and said, "Looks like a little Death Star."
Oh God.
Okay, sorry.
I
was very distracted by this.
Mm-hmm. No, that's so funny. So they come in 6 different designs. So they've got black, checkered, cobra, zebra, leopard, or heart print. And so they're blowing up social media, I guess. And some women have actually gone to Twitter to say they're going to go on strike if their partner doesn't get these because they're so cool. And it's like, if he doesn't have a YSL, we aren't having sex. And, there's some really funny lines that people are putting. But a lot of people are saying, God, they don't even want to open them because they look so cool. And a couple women are like, hey, maybe we could frame these. I mean, it's just like,
well, okay. It does make something designer probably affordable. Is there a price on there?
It doesn't say.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't say.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple. I'm sure they're, I think we sell our 3-packs for like $4.99. Walgreens has them for like $7.99. But I think they focus, I suppose they figure if you're running in there to just buy a 3-pack real quick, they can get you for extra several dollars.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's going through there.
Costco.
Yeah.
Or
mm-hmm.
you.
Yeah. No, we don't sell as many as we used to, because people are just a lot more comfortable buying them, but it's more of a convenience thing. That we've got.
Grab a couple when you're there. I don't
know, 8, 9, something. Yeah, I mean, we used to have like a wall of them, but there's no point. Yep. It's it's going through there. Mm-hmm.
I get you. So yet another ancient penis thing was unearthed. This one was in Sweden. They believe it is between 1800 and 500 BC.
So like a stone dildo?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and but it was huge. It was 21 inches, and they think it was from the Bronze Age, and they found it near Gothenburg, and they are linking it to potentially to a fertility cult because there was a lot of animal bones next to it. Maybe sacrifice happened there. No human bones, though.
Yeah, you go to any museum, and it's all about penises and boobs. I mean, it's just,
I know. There's so many really
the arts. Yeah, I mean, it just I don't care what part of the world you're looking at ancient art, you're going to find boobs and penises.
Yeah, for sure. One of the archaeologists said, it's distinctly phallic in shape, and I, ran it by my colleagues, and they're like, oh no, that's definitely a penis. And she said, they think maybe it was a fertility cult, and that they, didn't offer actual.
Maybe it was an unsolicited dick dildo.
That would have been the Bronze Age equivalent of a dick pic. Oh my God. They carved out stones and left them at your house. Oh my God. Colleen, everybody, she'll be here all week. Oh my God. Oh, God.
Excuse me. Okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, what else are you going to do? You have to whittle it. Well, so to speak. Yeah. I don't know how you.
Yeah. I mean, that took a little bit of time.
That did. Yeah.
I mean, depending what sort of stone it was in. I mean, that could have changed over the thousands of years it was buried or wherever.
You think it got bigger? I don't know. Or it whittled down. Who knows? This is so weird, Colleen. This story. Have you heard about what's going on with Robert DeNiro right now with his assistant? That they're spatting and they're suing and countersuing each other. Have you heard about this?
No. There are some celebrities that I follow mainly because, if I like on Instagram or something like that, because they have just an absolute wicked sense of humor.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
That my brain clicks with, that I find, and they do, and they're just funny, like Ryan Reynolds. Just funny.
Yes.
Is going through. They're good at social stuff, but no, I wouldn't. I actually, honestly, if Robert De Niro was sitting in a restaurant nearby, I probably wouldn't even recognize him.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Well,
yeah. He's getting rather grubby looking. No. Well, he literally, okay. He sued her, or his film company did, saying that she misappropriated funds because she was like a VP for his film company, Canal Films. And so they're going after her for like $6 million. So she came back and said, no, I'm suing you for 12, saying that she resigned. He said she was discriminated against based on gender. There were wage violations and all sorts of different things, saying that he sometimes directed her to scratch his back, button his shirts, fix his collars, treated her like his work wife. She said that it was discrimination and gender and blah, blah, blah.
They're probably both right.
They probably are. But I mean, I think that there are some, and you and I joked around a lot about this, or I asked you a lot about this, like the first year we were doing the show. When you have a business that centers around things that could be topics that are HR violations in another company, and an actor being the personal assistant for an actor is not like, a mid-level manager at a corporation. So
it is more. That's why it's called personal assistant.
Yeah.
That's very.
But her lawsuit though, there was a link to a voicemail that he left her, and it is profanity laced, and I love the F-bomb as much as the next guy, but he is yelling at her, and the tone that he took with her. I mean, it's hard not to say it's abusive, but she could quit, and I'm sure, you know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah, I bet they're both right. We'll see what's going through.
I think the judge should just go in, knock them both on the head, and say, you're both dismissed, you're both paying your legal fees, settle down. you know, but I mean, unless he can prove through forensic accounting that she really did embezzle, in which case she should get in trouble.
It's probably...
Oh, God, my butt just stuck to the chair.
Yeah. It probably is easier to prove the fraud than the other stuff, depending on... although, you know, now with the electronic trails and emails, who knows?
Yeah.
What's out there.
Okay, this is weird. It surprises me, but it doesn't surprise me. Okay? So middle-aged men, statistics are showing now that Yeah, you okay over there?
Yeah.
Statistics are showing that middle-aged men are more likely to get STIs than teenage boys right now.
Yeah, because they won't wear a damn condom.
But middle-aged men today were around when the AIDS crisis hit. How can they not know better?
Because it hasn't been in the news, because they figure they're invincible, because, you know, it's going through there.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, everybody thinks, you know, like they know about one thing, but they don't know that gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, HPV is all out there. Mm-hmm. You know, it's going through there. You know, I mean, HPV can stay dormant for years.
Yeah.
I mean, and most of these things can have, I mean, honestly, for men, a lot of stuff has a lot more symptoms than for women. It can really stay hidden in women and screw up their fertility.
Yeah.
But I mean, the teenage boys, I mean, they are, I mean, such sex education sucks in this country.
Yeah.
But at least the one thing is, you know, they do talk about condoms.
Yeah.
You know, that seems to be the least objectionable thing to talk about versus, you know, masturbation or or IUDs or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I think I know I've mentioned this before, but Planned Parenthood has free condoms.
Yeah. Well,
and I sell them. Like I said, I mean, a few minutes ago, it's mainly a convenience thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, just have condoms.
Use them.
There's no reason not to have condoms.
Yeah. So the data from 2014 and today, 5 years, 12% increase in STI diagnoses among middle-aged men with a 16% drop in the younger, 13 to 19-year-olds. Okay? So here's the other interesting thing.
Well, I mean, I do know that younger folks are actually having a little bit less sex.
Yeah, they like their video.
Yeah, they like they're not hooking up as much as, you know, used to be, because and there's a lot of different reasons, electronics or just going through there or knowledge or you know, of just, you know, that you don't have to. I mean, they are learning a little bit that not everybody's having sex. There's a slightly less peer pressure.
Birth rates are down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All across the board. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they're saying they're attributing it to the middle-aged people that have gotten divorced and they're looking for their next relationship and they're hooking up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're having a little midlife crisis and it doesn't include condoms.
Okay, this is terrifying. This next one. Because I've had a Yahoo email for 20 years now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I still have my ancient AOL because whenever I have to, you know, let's say I want to get like 5% off my purchase and they're going to put me on some of the loyalty thing, which means I'm going to get about 1,000 fucking emails. Mm-hmm. It goes there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's my personal email and I've had it for a long time. There was a guy that worked for Yahoo. His name was Reyes Daniel Ruiz. And this was a severe case of cyber crime, I guess you'll call it. He is getting, you know, the sentence is pretty much not determined yet, but he could get years in prison and have to pay $250,000 in fines and restitutions after hacking more than 6,000 accounts looking for illicit photos, sex videos, and, you know, private pictures emailed back and forth.
Was he just using them from his own personal use, or was he like blackmailing people?
It doesn't say that he was blackmailing.
My guess is, I mean, with only a $250,000 fine, my guess is it had to be for his own personal use. Mm-hmm. This is a way for him to get his own, you know. Well, it's not free porn anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, he, you know, but he did store them at his home, and he kept the data. So he's pleaded guilty to one count of computer intrusion. And, you know, 5 years, though, doesn't seem like enough for going through and digging around in that many people's things.
Well, I think when was he doing any actual work?
That's another really good question.
Although, I mean, if you can... I don't know enough about computers to know. I mean, he could have easily just wrote a program that was running while he was doing something else. Who knows? I don't know how that shit works.
My account got hacked, though, 7 years ago now. And it was a big, big deal. It took me a really long time to straighten all that out. It is the pain that causes is it's a lot. I mean, and it's emotional and, all of that. And this person sent out a phishing email. And one of my friends called me and said, what's interesting is this email was written kind of how you talk, but I know that you're a professional writer. Yeah. So there's some stuff in here, but he goes, just what's going on? And I had like 10 voicemails like that. And I came out of a meeting and I'm like, oh my God, my account got hacked sometime during that meeting. It was awful. Yeah. So I hope he gets in big trouble and never does it again. So get this. We talked about cheating a little while ago. I'm not a fan.
No.
If there's an agreement. A North Carolina man whose wife of 12 years left him for another man just won a $750,000 judgment against her new lover. He actually, the guy's name is Kevin Howard. He won the lawsuit against the man under the state's alienation of affection law.
Yeah, I've heard that people do this, but I've never heard of what the outcomes could be. That this is what state was this in?
This was North Carolina.
Yeah, I mean they must have different.
Yeah. Well, get this. He said this was one of his wife's colleagues, and he had considered him a friend, and he said that she used a different excuse for wanting to separate. But then he uncovered the affair, and his attorney has done this successfully more than once. There are only a few states that still have these laws. They are, in case you're curious, Hawaii, Mississippi, New Mexico, South Dakota, Utah, and North Carolina. Okay, so be careful.
It sounds like some of these, some of these laws were probably used to try and as sort of a, you could tell someone you're going to not get divorced from someone, but they're going through there because I bet you anything they were. But it just seems really, I don't know. I mean, how do you let you, I suppose marriage is a contract and they broke the contract, it is legal. Yeah.
It's something to know if you're considering marriage there. I think Minnesota is a no fault divorce state.
Yeah, I believe,
because, I actually, when I got divorced, I got an anonymous phone call and I literally caught my husband with his assistant who I helped him hire. I was a partner in that business. That was not fun because the girl that we hired that was the perp, in addition to my husband, of course, my then husband, the girl that we had hired, I really fought for her because she was an English as a second language person. And one of the things we had the applicants do was write a paragraph. And she had the best written paragraph of the other applicants that were born and raised here with English as their first language. And I'm like, you know what? So I was impressed. I was. I mean, you know what I mean? I thought, you know what? You deserve, she had a lot of good qualities. And apparently my husband thought so too. But but they told me it didn't matter why we were getting divorced. Of course, So anyway, that was interesting. And he hired a shark attorney who left her husband after he got a disease, and she said she didn't want to deal with it. So I hope she gets hit by a train. I'm still a little pissed at her. So anyway.
I've always been sort of fascinated over the just end a relationship and then move on. I don't, it's never been an experience that I've had either, stuff like that, but it's mind boggling because I've known people that always have someone, before they break up with someone, they already have someone waiting or starting, what I mean? And it's usually not that long of a time, but I still don't get
it.
I can't. I'm very. It just doesn't not compute.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. No, I do. I really do. I was pretty broadsided, but I came out of it. My ex and I are actually, we're kind of friends, and whatever. Now he's remarried, he has babies, and I'll, whatever. But that was not fun to go through.
No,
it felt really crappy. So that's why I'm kind of bitter about people who cheat. I don't like it. No. Well, on a happy note, give me a happy note to end this on.
Well, let's see. Today, as I came back from doing all the parking lot work, there were 6 massive pallets of sex toys being delivered into my warehouse here. So it's going to take us a little bit. Hopefully, by the time we get this on the air, we'll have a chunk of that out to the stores. But there are a lot of California exotic novelties, sex toys that are heading out there.
What's their thing? What makes them?
Oh, well, just they're a really they're a woman-run company, and one of the things that's really nice about their company is that California has a lot of laws about cancer-causing materials and all that, right? You have to proposition blah blah. If you've got something, they had their toys tested, and they don't have to mark anything. They don't have none of that stuff in there. Personally, I think it's overkill, but what the hell? I get it, because you need to have some sort of standards. But none of their toys tested, for anything that California has to put a label on. Mm-hmm. I rarely have broken merchandise from them. Occasionally there's a back production run, but they tend to catch it. And they'll tell me to gather things up before, it's going through there. And they have really pretty design. And stuff like that. So we get a lot of vibrators from them.
Okay.
And it's going through there.
What's it called again?
California Exotic Novelties. And, but they just have some, they have nice high-end stuff, mid-range, middle range, low range, but the quality's good all the way across. So there's 6 massive pallets. And the other stuff that came out, we got a whole bunch of stuff from Doc Johnson. A lot of their rubber goods are made in the U.S., and so that's going out. I saw a lot of masturbators going out. Like I said, we got a sample in of one that was a little black ball. I'm not sure what company from, and it had 2 things. And I looked at it and went, it looks like a little Death Star.
That's hilarious.
And I'm like, oh my God. And I have friends that are very, very into Star Wars. So
that's hilarious. Mm-hmm. Well, I just would like to clarify for people listening, Colleen, you said that you have all these masturbators out there. It's actual masturbation toys. It's not people masturbating in the warehouse.
Yeah, no, right? No. Okay. I mean, okay, we've been in this building for 18 years. Yeah. I've never caught anybody masturbating or having sex.
But you're not saying it didn't happen?
I can't say that it didn't happen. I mean, there was one time eons and eons ago when my dad was doing rounds in the middle of the night, and he caught one of our employees going at it with someone in the store about 2 hours after we closed. Mm-hmm. He's like, happy pants out. There we go.
Fired?
Yeah. No, I don't know whether he fired. I think it was a reasonable employee, but just decided that's where he was going to, have a little nookie.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, he's like, you happy pants, both of you guys out. So that was pretty funny. But I don't know. I mean, I don't want to have sex where I work. No. Because I don't want to think about that. I don't want to,
You're saying it would be hard to work?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to think about, hey, I was, no. Mm-mm. Okay. No, but that's just me. Mm-hmm. I think
popular.
They're separate. Yeah, I know it's
a lot of people like it.
I know. Yeah. It doesn't work. For me.
It does freak you out to think about going into your office and wonder and look around a room if you've got coworkers.
Yeah.
And go, oh my God.
Well, I'm the one that has the comfy sofa, so I have no idea.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, and there's somebody. If you work with 210 people like I do, my day job. Mm-hmm. Somebody's fucking somebody else in the building.
There's probably, there's corporations and storage rooms and single-use bathrooms that someone would probably hit the lock on right now. Mm-hmm.
All right.
But like I said, we got a lot of toys, and they're going to be going up soon, and we're getting ready for Christmas, and we've got some fun novelties in just for we don't really do a lot of Halloween stuff anymore, but there's some fun, a few things out there for that. I don't know.
Well, that's a good happy note. And we'll see you next week. And you have a